What up, everybody? This is Al the Pal 78. Today we're gonna go over some stuff. And my man Danny Thompson. This is his LinkedIn profile. Well, it was here, and I also have him on Twitter and on YouTube. Now I'm following a few people on YouTube, so when you see my stuff right here, you will see that I follow a lot of these guys. They're all awesome. There's some other guys I might have forgot, but I follow so many people. It's crazy on YouTube. I learn a lot from them, and that's why I'm gonna go to the box model like Danny was suggesting and learn these stuff. You got the box model, and we got the position that we're gonna go over. We're also gonna go over hover and Z index. Crazy, right? I know. So what I'm gonna do for y'all is I'm gonna do Control Shift P, and I'm gonna do Al's boilerplate and press Enter. We're gonna delete the JS because we don't need it. We're gonna come into config and copy this, Control C, and then we're gonna delete config because we don't need it. We're gonna come up here and go to the top, and then go all the way to the top and press Control V. And this is what we call a reset, and I will show you that in a second. Now we're gonna go back to here, and we're gonna go and copy all this, Control C, exit out of that, and open this up. And what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna take everything up. You should be getting the live SAS. That's why this happened. So let's delete this. Well, let's stop the SAS, and let's delete this whole folder real quick. As you see, it says watch SAS. Once I click on it, because I already have this working, it's gonna come and map this to here. Now to map that from there, if you want it that way, I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna go live SAS. Right? We're gonna click on where is it at? Live SAS editor. Where does it go? Where did it go? Why did it do that to me? Oh, compiler. There you go. Live SAS compiler. What the heck? Why did it? What the hell's going on? Boy. Live SAS compiler right here. Okay. And then we're gonna click Edit JSON, and this is what you gotta copy. All right, so this is what you're gonna need from there, and it doesn't matter what else is on here. You could put this at the very bottom, just put a comma at the last thing that you have here, and then add this in here, and it'll put it, well, you want it in between those two commas. If you put it there, it no matter what you have there, this might be the last one. This is what you want to do. I don't know what expanded does. I know it wants to give it a name of .css, the extension name, and you want to save a path to a folder, and that's what I just did. And I got my boilerplate that I did. I updated a little bit. I got it from James Crick, so you saw him on this here. So we're gonna get out of there because I'm not messing with that no more. And as you can see, this always wants to go to the bottom, so let's save that. We got this right here. We need to save this right here. Oh, we don't need to save that. We need to save the CSS, Control S, and we have to put a first get rid of the script. We must change it to Danny's suggestions, and there's a little bit more that we're gonna do, but you can follow along with that too because it's kind of like doing that. And we're gonna make a div here. We're gonna call it .ul, and then we're gonna press Control V because we got some ULs in there. And outside that div, we're gonna go .box, and the reason I have that, we're gonna put the word content in there. And here we're gonna put a dot para for paragraph, and we're gonna put a paragraph in there, and that's for later. And we're gonna put lorem 21 21 and press Enter, and that's gonna give us that. And now we're gonna press Control S, and just to show you guys, this is the default of the box sizing that you have anywhere you go. It's the content box. We're gonna Control S it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this. This is gonna add all the stuff we need to CSS. It's basically like TypeScript for CSS, and what it does, it compiles it and forms the CSS properly. We come in here, and we have a container.box, right? We have a box in here, and then we have let's just make that width right now, and I want it to be 250 pixels, and we'll go back to that in a second. And we also have a UL. You notice how I'm actually, let's do this right here. I'm actually, what they call it, typing, I'm nesting inside the container from here to here, because you could do that with SCSS. That's why we have the compiler on the going right there. Let's make this .ul because that's the first one. Okay, I don't know why I typed it out. And we're gonna put list stop position, and we're gonna put inside. And I'm gonna show you what all this means in a second. Now we're gonna open this back up. I don't know why I closed it. We're gonna right click on this sucker right here. Open with live server. Here we go. Bam. There it is. So what we do first, let's do this. Let's make the letters also smaller. Let's do. That's really easy to do. We just make it large. Let's save that, and we're gonna start putting these things to the side of each other like that. And as you can see, now it's 50-50. Kind of don't need this right now. We got everything we're gonna work with, and this is a little more in. But you see how I have it inside, and I'm gonna put a UL in here, and I'm gonna go. That's the first UL inside the div UL, and we're gonna put a left margin. All right, a margin left. I'm sorry, it's margin left. And then we're gonna put that as 8 pixels because I just want to use that number today. And then we're gonna go inside and do another UL because it's nested inside each other. We're gonna do the same margin left, and we're gonna do another 8 pixels, and that's so it could look prettier inside. Now, if you don't have this right here, this line right here, what happens is it puts it on the outside. So let's put a body of, and let's put the background black, background color. Just make it black, and then you see that it's on the outside of that, right? That's crazy. It shouldn't be there. So we gotta put this line right here, and we gotta put it there inside. Now that looks neat, like it's supposed to. And don't worry about the content in the paragraph here. We will mess with the paragraph in a second. Let's just put P, and let's just put width of let's put the width of 85 pixels. All right. So that would break it down. Okay, let's put 185 pixels, my bad. And let's make that 285, and then that would be perfect. Okay, so this is what we're gonna work with today. First thing we're gonna work with is the box model. Now that we have all this extra stuff out the way, let's get to the content, which is the box. We got a width of 250. Now, if you click on this and you press F12, you click on the browser, press F12, click on this, and then click content. All right. Now that you got content, press computer. You see it's 250 pixels. Let's just plainly work with the box itself. I don't know why I'm not putting height 250 px like that, and that's how you do that. And inside here, we're gonna make a comment, and we're gonna call this content because this is kind of like the content stuff we're working with. Now you see it's 250 by 250. Another thing we want to do with the content is text align center. Right, and now it's center, and align content, maybe align item center. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna work without using the display of flex. So let's not worry about that line. We'll worry about that later. We're not even on the display yet. We got this. Everything's working great. The box is what it's supposed to be. We're gonna give it a background color of let's make it gold, and the color on the inside, like the actual font, we want the color to be, what's a beautiful let's put gray. I don't know. That sounds good for now, right? There you go. So now it's gold and black. But we're gonna worry about the margin after. But as of right now, because we're using the content box, let's close that out, and let's close the UL out stuff. We're only working with that, so let's make everything small. So now that we're working with this, if you do this and you do you make it like over here, it changes the color to ugly, and it might be hard to see there. It's not. Let's just put gray, dark gray. There you go. And I don't like it, so let's make it navy blue. Oops. Navy. Okay, navy sounds good. It almost looks black. It's awesome. So the first thing we're going to talk about in the box model is the content right here. Let's make that a little bit better so you can see the words. The second thing we'll talk about is the pattern. The first thing is the content. The content is basically this box right here. As you see, there's dashes everywhere. That means there's no pattern, border, or margin. And since we're going to be working from the inside out, this is the most important thing. On content box, it means to be, nothing is going to change the size of the content itself unless you don't have the width as 250 pixels. You have it as like 17 EMs or something like that. I don't know the number. Or RVMs. And then that would be, that makes it for mobile size. It makes it adapt to scalabilities and stuff like that. And it looks good in any type of thing going on. So since you don't have none of this, this is what all we did. We did the width, the height, the center, the alignment, and the background. That's basically what your content is. There's other stuff you could do with this content. You could do a display inside the content, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. We're going to first worry about the box. The box has this stuff. It works with the content. Whatever's written in the HTML spot, really, that's what it's really working with. So we could do that and mess with that. So that's basically a content within this box. Now we're going to go to padding. When it comes to the content box layout, which is the default layout, the padding makes more room inside and it adjusts things inside the content. Okay? You'll see what I mean in a second. Let's type in padding. And there's 4 ways you could do each side. Alright? You got the easy way if this is what you want. And let's work with 10s. Let's work with number of 10s. And what this does, it puts the padding on the outside, but you always will have a 250 by 250 content box. It's just the padding on the outside. Now, there's some things you could do with that padding. I usually mess with it like that, but this is one way you could do the padding, and this means all 4 sides are like that. This one right here means the top and bottom are 10, and the left and right, let's save it, and the left and right become 8 pixels, of padding. So it makes it a little bit thinner. All right, and then we could go crazy, and then when you do it, now you got to do it 4, because if you save this, it's like what? But it still has left and right the same number, right? Of 8 pixels, but now the bottom is 5. So one more, and you put like 6 right here, and I should put 4 to make it halfway. So like I did 10, and now it has a pattern of 4 on the left, because that's how it works. From top, right, bottom, left. That's how it works. And that's how it works with margin too. So when we talk about margin and do this, don't forget that. However, I'm going to be lazy and just do 10 pixels. Now the last way you could do it is if you could put padding, and you could put padding top, and then you could put padding left. Oh, hold on, I don't have it left. And you could actually put left, and you could probably put like 10px or 10px like that, or let's put 11px so you can see the difference. Press tab, and it has that right there. Oh no, that's wrong. It's supposed to be padding that left, and then this here. Okay, that fixed it. But you see it has a padding on the left, and it's a little bit bigger. But because we did it like, yeah, I don't want to do it. That's like the only time you really do something like that is if you only want one side to have that type of pattern, like everything's budged up to the left hand side, you padding left 10 pixels and put the pattern here, but I prefer it this way, to be honest, unless you want all 4 sides to be different and you want it left, you wanted the left and the top to be 10 pixels and the bottom and the right to be 0. You could fix it with the 4-way. It makes it easier. But that's enough about padding like that. The padding itself, what it does when it's in the content box, we're going to talk about the border box in a second, well, in a few minutes. What it does for the content box, it gives you more room inside. It makes it look like there's more room, less room inside when you hover over it, but it's not. It just pushes your content in. Well, it comes from your content, from this corner of your content, and adds more to this content, so it looks like it got pushed in, but it really didn't. It just got surrounded. And that's the same thing your border does. So let's go to border. And you can play with all these. Every single one of them, if you type in it, has color, has left, right, width, style. Got everything. So you could put like border, all these different ways of doing it. But the most common way of doing it, like you see people doing 2px and solid or dotted, you know, and they got all different types. Like if I do border and I do two, I'm gonna go with 2px. Now let's go 5px. Let's make it crazy. And then here you're gonna want to go what's the dotted and what's the other one? They got double. I just put double. I haven't used that one around. And I'm gonna close this out. I'm not gonna. You usually see people put a color here, but it has its own color that it would work with. But then you could put like border color, like this, and do the same thing. Yeah, you could do the same thing like that. You could do like Google. You know, you put red, and then you got green, and then you got yellow, which is not gonna look here, and I don't know, blue with Google. And so like every single border has its own color. The border is important. You gotta understand when you add a border in content box, it's going from the edge of the pattern right here, and it is adding more stuff, extra space right here to do pattern. Now the same thing with the border. You could do border top, border right, border left, and make them different and everything like that. But this is the most common way you'll see people using it. As you can see, you got different colors, and you could do like dotted, and you see it's a dotted line instead. What's the other one? That's another one. It's solid, of course. That's just one. See what I'm saying? So you know that doesn't look good on gold. So you know, but still, you know, let's just put black in here, and then put S, and then you know you see 4 borders. It looks amazing. That's great. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to see. And lastly, you got margin. So the margin, it doesn't matter. It doesn't add up to here. I got a calculator out right here, and I cleared everything out, and I'm gonna show you why in a second. Let's just get to the margin first. So we got margin, and then let's make that a comment. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. And then now we're gonna do margin. Okay, yeah. Okay, I did not mean to do that. So we're gonna go margin, and let's just put 10 pixels all around, and then do that. So I think you could type 10M, 10 like M 10px and tab, and let's just figure that out. M 10px, yeah, that gets 10 margin as well too. So what this does is the outside, and let me show you something real quick with the UL, and it's gonna make you understand this. So we got 10 pixels of margin, top, bottom, right, and left. Now you see all this margin right here. Yeah, that's not all this margin. That's just leftover. If this was center, you see that on both sides. And the way you could do that is where you could put margin auto right there, and it'll center it for you. That's how you center divs and stuff like that. And even though it's centered, it still got, you see how it has the margins changing when you do auto. It changes it to center it within the amount of allotted space. So if you do this, it's gonna make it like crazy bigger if you could see it. But you can't see it right now, but you know what I'm saying. Now you see like 30 pixels left and right, and that's how a lot of people center things, and that's cool. But you still, let's calculate this real quick. All right, we're gonna start from the border. The margins are always gonna be the margin. It doesn't add anything to the actual content itself, unless you have that. So before I even go there, let's go to UL, the first UL, right, and let's just put an LI in here, and let's do this because that's that one. And let's put margin bottom, and let's just put a 5 pixels, right? Because I was 10. All right. So now it has a margin bottom. So you see how we have 10, and it's literally right there. If we click on the Z index, it's gonna have its 5. Okay, maybe I did that wrong. In here, this should be right. Control X. Maybe because this already has. Let's put B here and S. Let's see if that works. There you go. It has a 5 right there. Now you see the V has its 5. This is a problem with nesting stuff. Okay, you got the div that's UL, and then I said UL within that div, right? UL, so that's nested, and then you got the other UL that's in that div. So it didn't work right when I put an LI there, which confuses me. But that's why I'm working and learning. We'll figure that out in a moment, right? So we have the LI right here, and as you can see, it worked, and it gave me my 5. But as you see, it's only halfway to this spot, and this is what they call margin sharing or sharing. space sharing or something like that. And what happens is it takes the elements biggest, because every element is a box model, and it takes the biggest margin of the two elements next to each other, and it makes them different. That's what that does. So for the most part, margin, like anything else, let's type margin. I don't know why that keeps popping up. But you got a top, a left, a bottom, right, a block end, and it goes auto, and then you press save, and confuses everything. But we're not gonna worry about that because I don't use it yet. So we kind of figured out the margin. We kind of figure out that if you add 5 plus 10 plus 250 plus 5 plus 10, it gives you 280. All right, you see that? Let's close out the ULs again, and let's go up here. They're gonna change this to border box. If it didn't turn yellow, you did it wrong. Now what border box does, besides, you see how the margins change? What border box actually does is it's not just the content. It changes the assignment of the content. So from the border to the border is 250 pixels now. All right? And that's what that does. It makes the element the exact same size you want it to be. And that's it. That's all it really does. And that's good for when you doing web layouts and doing front end stuff, because it allows you to know for sure about how much space you're taking. If you say 250 pixels, it's 250 pixels. If you have this margin over here without the auto of 10 pixels all around, it knows everywhere around it has to have 10 pixels. Even if there's something right beside it, it has to have that 10 pixel margin regardless. And that's what that does. So that's what that does. All right, the border box makes your element more pixel perfect or something like that, more pixelated. Like you know exactly what you're gonna get from that pixel because you said 250 pixels wide. Well, it's gonna give you 250 pixels wide for the box, or for the div, or for whatever it is, the paragraph. Let's say you did the same thing with the paragraph, right? You got a 285 pixels here. So let's click on the paragraph now. Let's come over here, click here, and let's click on the paragraph. It's 285 pixels, right, from left to right. And give it a height of 200 pixels. Let's just put 250 pixels. All right. Now you see it got more space here, but now we're gonna put a padding of, like, let's say 15 pixels, right? From in to out. Now it does the same thing. You see, you no longer have 225. 285. You no longer have 250. The 15 is 30. That makes it 20. That makes it 30 less. And then you keep going with the border. This is why I do powers of 5s and 10s. And you press save, and it's gonna give you it's not gonna give you a border if you don't give it a definition of solid or something like that, right? It's gonna give you a border, and usually it takes the color of the color of the content right here, background of this one right here. The color is white, you see. But if we do that there, the same thing happens. It squeezes it in. Yeah, it says 285. It is 285 from 5, from 20 and 20. That's 40 minus 255, and that's 245, and the same thing this way, right? That's all it basically is. 40 from 250 is 210, but that does for you. That makes you, like I said, allow you to organize things properly on that. With that being said, let's move to positioning, right? Positioning, and we could do the Z-index effects and the hover. So positioning is awesome too. So we're gonna work with some positioning here. So let's keep that going, right? We can do that. All right, let's just do this, and let's go position, right? And we're gonna talk about static real quick. It's a default positioning, so it's not changing nothing. That's that. And then we're gonna go to fixed, and fixed is just as easy as it. All right, so fixed position makes this exactly what it is. And so now we gotta go here and go position. Like you see, it's on the behind it. So we're gonna click that out of there and get off the tab. Let's see what that does. That's gonna put it right in front of it. So it's crazy, but we don't want this fixed. We want this relative. Let's see what that does. I'm trying to make it Alright, so that makes it underneath, but what's going on is that this is fixed, and so you need to make this make this long higher, the container. So they put the height, and we're gonna put like 2,500 pixels just to have fun with it. And you can see it's behind it now, which is weird, right? We don't want that behind it, but that's what happens, and that's what fixed does. It's always gonna be in the same spot. All right. Now we're gonna change this to sticky. Well, let's go back one. If we have position fixed, we could put a top and a bottom. So we type top 12 pixels, right? And then we type left. This means it's starting from the top and it's working 12 pixels down. Starting from the left and working 12 pixels from the left. And we could put REMs. So now it's here stuck. That's it. Who cares? You can't do nothing about it. Too bad, huh? That's pretty. Now sticky is kind of similar but different. What sticky does is once it gets 12 positions or 12 pixels from the top, that's when it stays fixed. So once it gets 12, you see how it stays there and now everything goes. And they do that a lot for navigational stuff. Like you have the navigation bar like down here and you start doing this and it just stays there. That's a trick for that. Now, let's see. I think because it's sticky, it goes there. And do we have this? Let's do a position relative here. Position relative here, and we will talk about that in a second. And yeah, I figured, yeah, sticky just stays where it's at, and you don't use the top and left position. You know, well, the top position, it could be like 412, right? So that'll be where it started. So you see how it moved down and it stays there. So let's make that to 212, right? So it's gonna start from where it starts, and then once it hits 212, it's gonna stay there. And the same thing goes for I don't think we need a left, but that's maybe moves it over to the right a little bit. That's it. That's just a starting position. So there it is, bam, there it is. And I think you can make it left and right if you had it. Let's make the width. We have the width for here. We don't even have a width on this, so. And let's make it 2,500 pixels. And now you're gonna see everything like disappear here as well. You see how it's finally moved. All right, so let's make the box. Where we at? Instead of 212 to the left, let's just make this 12. Right, and I think that should stop it right there. You see, it's not gonna stop. See, yeah, it doesn't either way. So that is sticky. Alright, so before we go any further, let's see if I got the z-index right. We got position relative, and now the z-index of the paragraph should be, because you see how it's behind it? Let's say we want it in front of it, it should be a 1. I'm hoping this works. If not, we have to put this as a, what is it? What has to be relative? I forget these things. It's, you know, I don't use this all the time. You know, position relative. Oh yeah, we have to give the z-index of 0, I believe. Z-index of 0, and that's usually the default z-index. Let's see if that worked. No, and I don't want to give this a negative 1, but it's starting to look that I have to do that. Let's see. That goes behind that. This should work in front of it. I forgot what I did, and let's give this a 1. Yeah, I did something. I forgot what I did. I made something relative, and then the P actually went in front of it. So, oh, I gotta give this a position. That's why. Maybe that works. Let me see. There you go. The position is relative, but the index has to be high, and that'll put it right in front of it. Like, so we had a nicer color that went with gold and purple. Like, we could put color, and let's put color navy again. Navajo white sounds good to me. Let's save that. And that look, you can't even see that. I meant to put navy, but you know, I was going with that. Now the blues, kind of see it on that, but you definitely could see it on that. And that's how things work, you know, with the sticky stuff. And then that's how position relative works as well. So relative is crazy. You have to put it in the right spot. Absolute is similar to that. So let's just put this relative, right? And then let's give this a absolute. Oh, I did not mean to kick that twice. Let's just give this a position absolute, right? And let's save it like that. So the absolute position is that. It doesn't matter. This is the parent element. Let's take it off of the container is the parent element of both of them, right? You could put it on the body, and then the it'll be different. But this is gonna be there absolutely. So the good thing about this is that let's put the paragraph. Let's highlight that and press Alt, up, and that's gonna put the paragraph in there. So in here we could put the paragraph inside the there like that, and let's make it look nicer and save it. And okay, now this paragraph is part of that. So let's do 200, right, and then 200, and let's see what that looks like. Now that looks great, and so that looks beautiful, right? But this is and the Z index doesn't matter anymore because it's a child of that, and I'm glad I was right. We don't need the Z index in that either, right there, because it's inside the thing. You know, like if we did a Z index here now, and then we put -1, it'll put it behind it. You see, but we don't want to do that, so let's not do that. And what this is saying is that it's actually, let's see, the position static. Okay, the paragraph has a position absolute, and the reason they made it absolute here is because it's in there. So let's actually make the font size small, right? See what that looks like. All right, and let's make this 100 by 100, 100 by 100, and let's like take some of these words out. Let's come over here. Where we at? Conseca, whatever. Right here. We're gonna take some of these words out, and this is gonna blow your mind. So probably not, but it sounds good. We don't want that. We could have put overflow hidden. That's what we could have actually done. And we leave that right there. So we got this right here, and as you can see, it's absolute position, but it's not really absolutely positioning anything because it's the height and width. So let's get rid of this right here. We don't need that. Control S. All right, so that's where it needs to be. And now because this position is absolute, we could do a top, and we could put let's put a bottom. Let's make it go to the bottom, right? And it starts from 0 to whatever number we want it from. And we could put 15 pixels, right? And look what it does. And then we go to left, and we could do something like 50%, right? And then we do that, and it's supposed to be 50%, but that's why I think the translate 50%. I think you're supposed to put, or left 50%. Oh, I don't know. I do it wrong, or it's supposed to be right. Is it the opposite? I always do this part wrong, so I'm not even gonna go crazy on this one. But what it does, what the absolute does, is instead of putting 50%, it puts it absolutely in the inside the thing where you want it to be. So let's put bottom like 25%, and let's just put this 1 REM. So let's do that. So you see how it does that, and you can put this as 3 REMs, and then you can put this one as 2 REMs, and then it puts it wherever you want it to be. It'll always be there, absolutely fixed, right there. You know, absolutely in this position right here. So you could put other stuff in here, and it's not going to change where this is going to be. So you could actually put in the index right here, Underneath here, you could put lorem. Let's just put lorem 25 tab and press Control S. So it doesn't matter. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be overlapping that, and that's what the all the positions really do. Relative is saying, hey, I'm relative. Like we could get rid of that, I believe, and then it'll be the same. I'm relative to this section, and if I put it on the body, what happens is this becomes relative to the body, you know, and then let's show you what I'm talking about. If I take the relative off of here, right, and I put the relative on the body, or let's put the relative on the container so you can see position, relative, Control S. Now it's wherever that is. You see what I'm saying? It's relative to this. And if we close that out, and we just Control C that, so I don't have to type it, and we do that on the body. Now it's relative to the body, you know, which the body is inside. But you could see, let's get this 2 REM out of there and make it 1 REM, and so you can see that it's relative to the outside of the body. So we like I said, if we take this right here and then bring it back over here, you're gonna see it come inside now because it's relative to the container. So if you take the relative out of here and you put it back in the box, it's relative to the box. You see, that's how the relative stuff works. All right, this is too far out, so let's just delete that. Let's just delete all that. So it works. That's how it works. You see, that's how absolute works from its relative side. Now we're gonna go over hover. Hover is kind of easy. It's got some stuff we could play with, right? And see right there. Let's show you something real quick. See how it changed everything around? It changes everything around too. So as you see, it's messing with everything. But the container.box P now, before it wasn't like that. So let's get out of there again. And this is going to be the last two things. We already did the Z index. We did it inside positioning. So let's just do this, right? And we could actually nest this in here. I think it's called ampersand, and hover. And we don't have to write P question and go outside. We just put and hover. And then what we do is, let me see. We're going to copy all this, right? Control C. And Control V, and we're gonna put and then we're gonna put what we're gonna put a box shadow, and we're gonna just put it 10px, 10. We'll worry about that later. We're not gonna explain 10px, and blanch almond. Right, that works. Let's see if that works. So when we hover over this, you see how the blanch almond came and covered all that. And we could actually just, instead of doing that, we could put RGBA, and then, you know, we could put 0,0,0,0.5. That's just the black. And so when we hover, it's like you could see through it black. And we could actually do that with the background color too, if we really wanted to here. And we put RGBA and do that, and then we just press tab because it's the same thing. So you see how you can see through it, and now you have a box when it goes over it, and you could change things around. You could put like some animations. What's it called? I think it's transform and translate like 50 degrees. I think it might be. I could be wrong. No, I'm wrong. So I messed it up. I gotta figure out how to do that again. I might know how to do it, but I haven't done it for so long. I forgot the words. But as you can see, everything. Let's click in here, and in here it doesn't have the padding. It has everything we talked about. That's basically everything right there. I hope you enjoyed it. And I went over a lot of different things. And like I said, if you put hover, you could do a lot of things. You just gotta know what to mess with. You know, when you do the and hover stuff, like you don't need this right here. That's useless. We don't kind of need none of this stuff. We kind of really don't need none of this stuff right here. We keep the font size because that'll change, and we change the color to white smoke right here. and then change that. When we hover in it, you see it has that effect going on it, so it looks so cool like me. All right, that's that.